right. Welcome to the Distat Podcast, episode 131. What's going on? How's everyone feeling? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. You know, I hope everyone's loving their life, bro. Getting into a little bit of a spiritual movement this week, cranking in the yoga, yin yoga. What else did I do? Just flow yoga, which is another style of yoga. Jeez, my hair's looking mad on this camera, bro. I'm quite lazy with uploading this shit to YouTube, you know what? Partially because I get 260 views on it, and on the podcast listenings I get thousands, and now I don't want to go into... Anyway, whatever. So the hair's looking good. I've been doing a bit of yoga this week. That's been all right, bro. Stretching out my stiff old joints. It's different, bro. Like, I noticed this week that as you get older, niggling little shit things that happen to your body, they just decide to stay forever. They become residents. They're tenants. They're tenants with an expired lease, but it's month to month, and they don't want to leave. And if you go to leave, they'll put the tribunal on you and take your ass to the cleaners. And that's what it is. In order to get rid of them, you got to go through hell. And that's what I'm currently going through with the tendinopathies that I have there in my body. I've got 10 tendinopathies. I've got 10 opathies. I've got 10 denopathies. Anyway, that doesn't work. So, yeah, I'm going to yoga a little bit. I like the yoga. I don't know what it is about me, bro. Like, I'm always on the brink of stress and the need to work. It's like, it's that WOG thing, bro. My dad used to kick me in the ribs when I was young, and don't try to go and cancel the bloke, because he can't be cancelled. He doesn't have any social media accounts. And by the way, he'll probably kick you in the ribs if you go and try to cancel him. I'm only joking. It's a joke. Don't end up putting me on the Australian newspaper now for threatening violence from my dad to a person that I don't even know. So if you're going to cut that. So my dad used to walk into my room back in the day, and I love your dad because he listens to this, and he would see me like slumbering like some sloth, and he would just go, "Get up, wake up, work time. We got to get to work, buddy. Get up. There's no time to sleep." And and if I wouldn't respond once or twice, he'd go and have a shower, whatever. Now I'm 20, 18, 19, 20 or whatever. Just a moron of a person that doesn't know what day it is, prioritizing the worst people, pretend love, pretend hobbies, kind of like what I'm doing now, but without the results, I would say. That would be the only difference. Like, that would happen. I play a lot. I like to play. I like to put in action. I'm not a theoretical bloke. I'm a practical person. Anyway, it's the history. You signed up to listen to this. So he would walk in and he'd go, "Get up." And he'd go to the shower. He'd get dressed. He'd come back. And if I wasn't up, there's a kick to the ribs, right? And it's straight up. And it wasn't like a John Jones kick or an Alex Volkanovski kick to the ribs or Conor McMuffin or anything like that. It was more of a push, but it might dislodge. You could puncture a lung if you was angry enough. It's like, "Get up, get up," and now I'm up. And now that has etched its way into my, let's say, trauma response. Now, there's what the catchphrases these days from all these people that are on Joe Rogan and on the TikTok algorithm is everyone's got trauma, and we're dealing with trauma. Everyone's a victim, right? Everyone's a victim, including myself, and we all need to work out with our historical trauma and how it's conducting our everyday actions. There's probably a lot of truth in that, you know what I mean? That's why Jesus doth said it to forgive yourself and to forgive others, because when you forgive others, those traumas go. But if you don't forgive and you hold on, mate, and that's it. You're going to have to replay those traumas your entire life. So don't worry about listening to anyone like, you know, the gospel teachings and things like that. Why would we listen to that when we can listen to that guy, the transvestite that was on the... what's it called? The Project the other day, saying that Jesus got nailed for 3 days and then came back for more. Funny play on words, and I can get it. He's a comedian, and he seems like he's got, I don't know, them, like whatever he has or they have. Let's just say they, so I don't get taken to the cleaners as well by him or by them. A few of them. Let's just say that they're very charismatic and funny and the whole thing. But, I mean, get it right. Jesus didn't get nailed for 3 days. He got nailed for 1. He died. And then he came back. And not for nailing as well. He came back to "Doth save your soul, you heathen." Now, people have gone mental on this person. This is a side note down the morning Woggalog, down the opening Woggalog. This is a side note that this guy is being pillaged publicly for that. There's a whole bunch of conservatives that are coming out and just going, cancel the project. I mean, that guy, I forget his name, the Muslim guy on the project, I don't know what his name is, I forget. Ahmed? I don't know what his name is. Anyway, something. He was there. He didn't really laugh. He snickered. I think he just snickered because he still wants to get paid 6 figures, to go on the project every day. But I would say that inside he was probably going, heathen. Yeah, so that's a side note. Anyway, I don't know why I got to there. Oh, yeah, so you don't need to listen. So trauma, the whole thing, the trauma response. You don't need to listen to those gospels or any wise person in the past because you can do what you want now and dance on TikTok, have an OnlyFans and roll around in a Mercedes S500 or S650 and live on the waterfront now because you're making $1.5 million a month showing your box to people in Australia and around the world. But doth heathen doth roam the earth. So I ended up thinking to myself that I've got to work a lot, and that's this whole woggalog where I'm going down these rabbit holes. It's just, I think it is maybe that, man. How can you not kick it and chill and have guilt-free relaxation time? That's something that I'm currently working through and working out, and that's why I said on my Instagram, I'm going for a spiritual journey and shit. And the and shit is the working out of all of this stuff. The yoga is like a bit of a portal for me, man. Like when I go running, I get this fierce focus. If I run 5-10K, I get a fierce focus, adrenalized, I feel kind of achieved and all of that stuff, but it's a driven kind of a focus. You get to run as high, there's a lot of endorphins and things like that. When I cycle, it's the same thing. I get into a bit of a meditation with the cycle a bit more because it's not as punishing as a run is, because with a run you can't, well, if you stop, you stop, but you can't really. The whole time you're going. With cycling, you can pedal and then free spin, free wheel the flats and the downs and all of that stuff. So you get a little bit of this respite there where you can chill. And similar with swimming, I did 50 laps of Olympic pool this morning, 2.5K. You don't get much time to relax because you're paddling the whole time, but there's some really meditative about just looking at a black line going down the pool. It's better than looking at a white line going down a table at a nightclub. And there's this kind of spiritual thing that I've been going through this week, and you guys should know about it. Why not? Because I fucking live with my heart on my sleeve and I tell everyone everything, and that's what it is. And it's just the sunnies that keep me kind of secure in my anonymity, right? You look that up. So I was there in yoga the other day, and I was doing the first one, flow yoga, and in the middle of the yoga, instead of chilling, I'm panicking, and yeah, I just felt on edge, and my heart rate was going up and down. The yoga class was a little bit hot, but I don't know, maybe that was doing that. But I was very aware of everything. I was just aware of all of these things, niggles in my knee, my elbow. I'm just feeling it. I was not in the zone. This was on Tuesday. And I was thinking, Jesus, bro, Vlad, get in the zone, prick. You can't switch off. There's something going on. You're well wrapped up. You're in a spiral. You're wound up. You need to cut the cord and you need to let yourself free, right? And it is what it is, bro. We all have our own personal struggles in this world, and the world's not any less tricky than what it's been before. I think it's more trickier. I think it's trickier. Get rid of the more. I'm editing on the spot here, regressing, editing, digressing, and then just, so if I chop this up, it's perfect English. But I'm not, so you can sit through all the mistakes. So I was just thinking to myself, you got to sort it out, bro. Get this shit worked out, and why do you feel like this? So the next day I did 50 laps in the pool on Wednesday. I enjoyed that, and I got into a zone. Felt a bit better in the body, felt a little bit more loose because the yoga kind of stretched out my shit joints, because they're all from years of running and cycling and swimming, but mostly running, because I've been running for years now. I've been running since 2014 when I noticed I had tits. That's when I started running, and more notably from 2017 till 2021, there was a lot of running. There was 40K a week on average. So there's heaps of running. I would run about, 1,500 to 2,000 Ks a year. That's to Brisbane and back every year. And not that it's anything extreme. There's people that do 100 a week, but there's people that do 200 a week. But also there's people that, put a fist in someone's ass, but I don't go to those extremes. And ended up just thinking to myself, it's time to stretch out, and your body is a reflection of your mind, I think. So, man, I got a big schedule this year. I've booked all my shows. Pretty much round of applause for me. I've wanted to do that my whole life. I mean, look, my first tour, I booked majority of them. And in the second tour, I booked 50% of them. Then my booking agent at that time, he helped me out and did a good job on that front and fixed it all up. And this year, I just went, you know what, me and my sister, and we're going to do this together. We're going to start our own little company, and we did that. So anyway, it's all sorted. So we have Melbourne secured, we have Sydney secured, we have Wollongong, Adelaide, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Newcastle, Canberra, Perth, all secured. Auckland as well, going to be going there, and England. So international man of stitchery. Anyway, so back to the yoga. Now I'm inside yoga on that Tuesday, can't really get in the zone. Now on Thursday I go back for a second session, but this is yin yoga. Now yin is like the flow state, the chill, the stretch, the pause, the meditative state. That's what yin means apparently in yoga. Naskaramakammasana. I'm trying to learn out the words. Shanjavasana, Hin Siddhipikasana. They've got all these different words and stuff, and I like it. I really like yoga. As I said, there's something about it. When I get into yoga, I feel at home. The same way, my mum's a yoga teacher, by the way, so maybe it's because of that. It's in our genetics. Like, we like that flow, peace, flow, energy. That's where I feel the best. I feel the most at ease and the most creative and energetic and all of that stuff. I can still adapt and go running and do all of that stuff, but I'm not at peace the same way I am when I go for a surf, lick a river, get in the forest, or do yoga, stretching out on mats and stuff with all these middle-aged women and people with rheumatoid arthritis. I'm in the wrong age group. Everyone there was 60 plus. And they were all females, right? There was one guy there with a hair bun, all right? He was probably a barrister making coffees at some shop as well. And I looked at him, I was like, me and you are both heroes, bro. And he goes, yeah. I could see what he was doing, Singlet on from Lululemon. I'm just there. I'm trying to get these positions. I'm a flexible bloke. I've got my leg flexing around, the glute muscles all flexing. There was one position where I think I saw sawdust pop out of my knee. And I was like, now you're a tight cunt right there. Now, sorry, not swearing, okay? So I was like, you're too tight there. And I worked on that. I sat in that yin yoga where you just sit in the pain. That's the whole point about yin yoga. It's once you get a certain position, and I hit one this morning with the missus, you stay in it, which I didn't this morning. I did several anyway. But yoga, you hit one position, and then you breathe into it. And you slowly breathe, it relaxes you and relax more into these things, effectively giving you a deeper stretch, right? But also calming your mind in the midst of discomfort. And that's what I realized was something that I need to do. And as I said, you're branching out, doing Vlad, doing everything that I'm doing. I'm busy as shit, and I've got a family, and I'm constantly working. I'm constantly contributing to this journey that I'm on, right? And this journey is about laughter, connection, thought provocation, and just general enjoyment, right? And I'm trying to bring something decent forward from my catastrophe body and mind. I'm trying to become more immaculate. That's the whole journey. It's the journey of Immaculate agency. We know that. And I just realised how beneficial yoga was for me, and I'm probably talking shit now, and next week I'll be playing basketball and my knees will be popped out again, and I'll get into that, but right now I'm going to sit into it. Now I set myself a goal of 12 weeks to rehabilitate myself, my knee, my elbow, so I can get back into tennis because I love it. And last year I spent 52 weeks playing tennis 4 times a week, and everything broke down, bro. Everything broke down. It's all broken. It's all broken. That's why I have to do all of this stuff. So now I've got to the point where it's like, all right, give yourself 12 weeks, 13 weeks, and just get deep into stretching, bro. Come out looking like some cat, dude, called Felix. They can munch your own balls and make a back like a harbour bridge when you see a dog walk past in the park. Flexibility is what I'm trying to say. So I went to the yoga, and this lady, it's funny, these yoga teachers, I don't want to be talked to, Like when I walk into yoga, I just want to do my thing and pretend I'm not here. But some of these ladies, they're so nice and they're so helpful, and they're like, come on, hello, hi, how are you? What's your name? Oh, Vlad. Yeah. Oh, you're new here? Yeah, I haven't come. Okay, welcome. injuries? I go, yeah, actually, tendonitis in every joint in my body. Oh, wow, I'm sorry to hear that. Grab yourself a bolster. Grab yourself 2 blocks. We're going to just take it easy on you, okay? We're going to take it really easy on you. I go, don't ever look at me. Like, just you work with the geriatric women that are in here and the grandmothers, and just let me just be the odd one out and do whatever. You know, I don't need you coming up to align my back or my hips or something like that. She goes, that's okay. I'll look after you. Every 7 positions, she's walking up to me, grabbing my hips at the back. Got to admit, a little bit turning on. All right, now, I'm not going to say that I'm going to do anything because I'm married happily with 2 kids, but a little bit of movement, you know, when that happens. And it just happens. A man, woman comes up and grabs, she's a yoga teacher, comes up and grabs your hips and goes, and you're like, ha, oh, shit, okay, don't do that again. Don't do that again. She goes, okay, and then you're like, ha, ha, ha. A little bit embarrassed now. You know, but that's what happened. You know, I enjoyed that yoga session, and the second one, she said some shit like, set your intentions for the day. And part of me, the thinking brain, is just like, what are you on about? Get in the downward doggy style position now, not with me, by yourself on the mat. Don't, you know, get me implicated here. Get in the doggy style position, get in the crab position, the cows and stuff like that, and just get on with it. But she's like, no, we need to set our intention and put your hands to heart, to your head, set your intention. What's your intention? And then I was like listening, and I'm like super, what's it called? Pessimistic, like a cynical wog. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I've been bashed up in a Hessian bag my whole life, just being denied and let down and dumped and criticized. Like, I don't understand this like hyper perspective of positivity, but I'm trying to. That's the whole point. Go to the darkest place in the forest. That's you go to the every warrior must go to the point, enter the forest at the point at which it is darkest to them. For me, it's this type of shit. For me, it's like, what are you talking about? You know, setting intentions, humming and ahhing. She goes, let's do a hum there. Hum. And I'm like, I was embarrassed at first, but now I'm there. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, loving the hum now. Hum, ahhing? I don't know. They say something, the namaste's at the end, but at the front it's the humming, right? So I enjoyed that, and she came in all to my hips, but she said a notable part of this Wogalog, bro, is to set your intention. And she goes, if you want to set your intention, and in my head I said, she's going to say peace, right? And she said, if you want to set your intentions for, okay, let's just say, and she's going to say peace, she's going to say peace, because that's what I'm trying to set my intentions for, a peaceful mind, body, life, right? So the rat race that we live in is catastrophe. The world is devolving into straight catastrophis, let's just call it, as if we're going to use a medical term. And I just want to be like the strong, the unbreakable, say, tree in the midst of the hurricane. That's where I'm trying to get to, right? Because leadership, this, that. You need it if you're going to be some type of influencer out here. You can't be some guy that folds like a jaffle in a Breville. You need to be strong, right? And so you can already hear that the voice is very low tone this week. It's not like, welcome to the This That podcast. I'm not yelling, centeredness, okay? Setting intentions, this, that. So I was setting the intention, and she goes, so let's just say you want to do peace. And I was like, fucking knew it, right? I shouldn't have said fucking knew it, but I did it. I did in my head. It's ego, right? The ego was like, fucking knew it. You knew it, Vlad. You knew it, bro. And then I was like, that's the darkest point for you, prick. Right there. You don't know it, and you need to sit back and observe and chill, right? And that's where I found that little, like, kind of tidbit, that glimmer of information that I can unravel and unpackage. This is deep this morning, Wogalog, that you're listening to. But I hope it connects with you guys on a deeper level as well. That's what we're here for, the stand-ups at the shows. You come to the shows, there's not going to be much deep thinking there. There's going to be deep laughter. You know, you might fart from laughing. Laughing? You might fart from laughter or laughing. It's up to you. That's laughter and laughing at the same time. So new words, this, that. So she was like, set it to peace. And this is what she said. She goes, sometimes when we're looking for a certain thing in our life, such as peace, it's the opposite of the peace that's keeping that thing that we desire away from us. Such as drama, stress, anxiety. That's the opposite of peace. You deal with the opposite and you get the peace. Metropolitan Stone, the best stone in the world. When you want to make a cabinet or some other timber style shit, cupboards and shit. Bench tops, changeovers, kitchen facilities, kitchens, laundries, brand new, old, renovation stations, bathroom cabinets, TV units, wardrobes, built-ins, linen presses, anything you want to do with the timbers and cabinets. These guys are 30 years experience in the cabinet making industry in Victoria. So make sure you go to metropolitanstone.com.au. Matthew Friedis will look after you on the price, especially if you mention Vlad or the Distat podcast. His number directly is 0425 797 488. 0425 797 488. Mention Vlad. Say to him, brother, I'm listening. Oh, you don't have to call him brother. Just Matt will do, right? You just go to him, Matt, bro, you don't have to say bro. You don't have to say bro. You can just say, Matt, need my kitchen staged. Got to do some bench changeovers. I need a built-in put into my son's room. So he's going to hide the pornos and stuff like that. And just go to www.metropolitanstone.com.au to find out more, or call Matty on 0425 797 488. And he'll stitch it when you mention Vlad, right? When you mention Vlad, he will give you a stitch, because he's a supporter of the podcast. And what are you doing? Supporting the supporters that support the podcast. Yes or yes? Orange Legal Group. Still the crowning achievement of all jingles for sure, Orange Legal Group. Been with us nearly 2 years now. God love you guys. Victoria, listen up. If you're purchasing a property, if you're selling, if you're renting, if you're leasing, if you're commercial, if you're retail, if you're industrial, anything to do with property law, you need to see Orange Legal Group. If you're buying anything, you must see Orange Legal Group. And if you're doing your taxes and any type of accounting work, you see Orange Legal Group. They're the one-stop shop. They have all three of those disciplines, let's call it like a martial artist, under the one roof. They're in Essendon on Mount Alexander Road. They'll do free contract reviews for you. If you're a buyer signing a contract, please send it to Dan and the boys. Send it to Ken and the boys. Sorry, Kenny. At Orange Legal Group, and they will look over it for free. Free assessment of your financial capacity to borrow for free. They can wrap everything in the accounting side. Give them a call on 03, which is the Victorian code, but you know that. 8317 1070. 8317 1070. Website is orangelegalgroup.com.au. Email is property@orangelegalgroup.com.au. Make sure that you go and support these guys. They're legends. Supporting them helps support this podcast and keeps everything going in beautiful symbiosis. Rap. I said, Bruce, it's a convenience. It's very, 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 very convenient. Bruce. Hey, fam. Dan from Bruce Super Convenience sent me another care package of some amazing stuff. Cheers, bro. I love your customs. You're very, very nice. Your hospitality, rather. You sent me a box, bro, and inside it there was like Twix, chocolate, cookies and cream Twix. There was, my favorite is the peanut butter Reese's. There was these Reese's ones that I had last night while I was watching a movie called The Menu, which I recommend. It's a funny movie, dark humor, but good. The Menu, and I ate some of that. I had some peanut M&Ms, some peanut butter M&Ms rather. And what else did my kids have? Oh, my kids had the Milka like biscuits with the chocolate on top. Go to brucesuper.com.au for like the best snacks in Australia. Not only does he get shipments on pallets every week, like heaps, he's got the new Prime drink that the whole world is losing their mind about. Don't understand, it's a Gatorade, why, who cares? But he's got it, so go over there. And he's been doing this for about 7-8 years now. Huge following on social media. He does giveaways. He reviews all his stuff. So go to Bruce Super C on Instagram. But their website is www.brucesuper.com. He releases new stuff every week. Go and follow him. He will give you 10% off for the code in the checkout, Vlad. And if you give him that If it says Vlad, he's also going to give you extra freebies on top of your order. So go and support Bruce Super Convenience, and they ship out fast. Support the supporters that support the podcast. All right, questions for Vlad. J.K. Russo goes, what did grade 6 Vlad want to be when he grew up, and why? Grade 6 Vlad. Let's talk. Grade 6 Vlad. That was 90s Vlad. There was a couple of passions. I loved music. Like, probably music was really, really something that I loved. I loved making people laugh. I loved being the life of the party in respects to making people laugh, being the laughs of the party. That's what I wanted to be. In class, I was always the guy that was the go-to for telling jokes and imitations. I was an imitator, huge imitator. I used to imitate my uncle, my dad, not so much my mum. You can't imitate my mum because she's the most regular person on earth. You just cannot imitate her whatsoever. Imitating her is just being normal, quiet, saying please, thank you, getting on with your life. There's nothing imitating. You can't imitate her. You can imitate my dad, my uncles, my cousins. I used to imitate people. And imitation's the greatest form of flattery, right? I used to listen to the 12th Man. That guy's a genius, in my opinion, of Australian comedy. Some of the funniest stuff I've ever heard in my life is the 12th Man. I love him to this day. I would love to meet him. Billy Buckingham, if you're listening. Birmingham, I mean. If you're listening, I would love to meet you, brother. You should be listening, by the way. So I would listen to that. I'd be really funny. I loved basketball. That was like a super obsession of mine. Got into Michael Jordan, became an absolute fiend for basketball for the next 6 or 7 years. Loved basketball. Watched everything new, everything, dressed like a baller, the whole thing. Loved music, as I said to you, and I loved artworks and projects. That's what I loved. I loved the English language. I loved the thesaurus. I used to walk around the thesaurus. I liked girls. I'd have obsessions with girls at school and go up and talk to them. I never dated any of them. It's fucking my head, so no one's going to really pay attention. Didn't have a girlfriend until Rachel broke my heart on the sand at Nelson Bay. Pitchkati materin, Rachel. Okay. And then apart from that, bro, it was leisurely activities. I'm not a studious guy. I don't like studying. I don't like sitting in the same place. ADHD probably. I'm practical. I'm creative. I'm on the move. I like to be in action in real time. That's just who I am, bro. And it's probably because of a whole bunch of stuff that happened to me young. Who gives a fuck? Like, you work all of that stuff out and you're like, all right, what are you going to do with all this information? You're this because of this, because of this, because of that. I've worked out 3 years now why I'm like this, and for the last 3 years I've done no work. I've done nothing. I'm probably going to regret that, saying that, and want to actually work on all of this stuff. But I don't know. The best type of work you could do is on yourself. That's the most. That work instantly translates to payment in either joy or health or prosperity or achieving goals or whatever you want to do, you know, or just peace, love, unity, whatever. The more work you do on yourself, the better. That is the best job you can do. Don't go around trying to change people. Don't go around trying to change the politicians out there or that transvestite guy that's talking about Jesus. Don't try to change him. You can't. You can cancel him. You're going to come back in another way. You got to change yourself, dude, and do something good on your side. But anyway, different point of the story. That's what I was like in year 6, bro. A bit timid till I got to know people. I still am the same. Even though I've met thousands of Vladiators, it's not like my natural predisposition to sit there and have, like, to be super, like, hey, what's going on? Like, you know, if I'm a bit tipsy, I'm like that. But if I'm just sober, which I have been recently for a while, it's more like I'm more reserved than myself. On stage, I let loose and I get go. That's my element. That's where I really shine. In groups of people, if I'm on telling a sketch or whatever, if I'm doing a bit in front of people, I'm on. It's limelight time. That's where I go. You know what I mean? So I just seem to have found through to all the timidness that I had as a child. I used to step out into the discomfort on purpose. Like, I bought a guitar, brought an electric guitar and a amplifier to one of my cousin's birthdays when he was like 5 years old. I was like 15, and I was playing like AC/DC in front of my whole family. It was a nerve-wracking experience, bro. So nerve-wracking. But people started getting into it and dancing and singing the lyrics, and I sucked at the guitar. I think I was playing TNT. TNT, oi, I'm dynamite. I.T and T, hard on the fight. I would never sing. Interestingly enough, I became a singer and spokesperson, Immaculate, and real estate agent. So all of the stuff that I was initially embarrassed or timid about or whatever, I pushed into those fields. And sometimes you can find these hidden treasures in the places that you least want to look, bro. I just remember in year 6, like when they would give us projects to go, like vision boards almost. I've spoken about this on a podcast before, but they would give us vision boards where they'd be like, you know, go and do a vision board on, I don't know, the United Kingdom, for example. And you'd go and study in the encyclopedias, have to go to my cousin Danny's house because his parents bought him Britannicas. That's why he works at Macquarie Bank on $500,000 a year, and his brother's a lawyer. But my parents didn't buy us that. I had the Slam skateboarding magazine at home and a bodyboard. So anyway, he doesn't have 50,000 followers. So more or less, I would go and do these projects and write little like essays about them and stick them down and that 90s shit, bro. And then you come and you'd present it to the class, and I liked that. That was so much fun, bro. I love that shit. Rip it in. I'll do things that were a little bit odd and quirky, and it's like a representation, a little art installation. I love that, you know. Especially if they said do it on what's your favorite thing, whether it be music, like my favorite band, Chili Peppers, back in those days, or NWA I used to listen to, which kind of ruined my brain and vocabulary a little bit, but I would still enjoy doing projects on things like that. And this is what ultimately I've ended up doing, which is just, being the laughs of the party and doing music and doing projects and presenting them to people in the end. And that's I've clicked into fucking gear here. That's the horse I am. That's the course I'm on. And that's the type of thing that I needed to find. And the beckoning call doth descended upon thee. And I'm very grateful and thankful that I found it. And thanks to everyone out there that listens and shares and comes and contributes and responds to me, bro. Love you all. Let's start again. Questions for Vlad. Any tips on how to pick up Sydney Renos? Got to dig deep for this one, bro. Yeah, I can give you some tips. Sydney Renos. We're talking about the Sydney Renovation Station, which we know Sydney Reno is a lips, hips and tits. It's the modern beauty look of Sydney. I will say that it's been influenced by the European culture, definitely European descent. Arabic and Europeans have molded a certain look. Let's go. And to pick up, like, let's talk about like top end Sydney Renos, like dedicated Sydney renovators. You need to pick them up. It's a concoction. It's a cocktail of things. One, you need confidence. You need confidence in the game, in life in general. You need steroids, bro. You don't come out natural. No one wants you to look natural, especially if the target is especially the target you're picking up is not natural. You have to come out as well looking like an avatar. So make sure you come out juiced up like Boost. Tats is the next thing. You need a few tats. Give a few signals to people of where your belief system is, what your hobbies are, and your traditions, and what you've loved in the past. It could be a photo of an ex-girlfriend that you've put on sporadically when you had a bottle of Jim Beam and you ended up walking through the crossing getting a photo of her on your back like Steve O. But you still go out there and you stand by that because you don't want to change. You stand by, you're a real man. That's another thing. I would say carry cash on you. Don't carry debit cards that your mum gave you from Westpac or from the Commonwealth Dolomites when you were in kindergarten and you were saving up $2 a week. Get cash. Now, whether it's like through legitimate means or through an ATM or other ways, carry cash. You need cash on you. The cash has got to be a couple of inches thick. You do carry your mum's Westpac card as well, just in case you lose that wad of cash or someone rolls you on the street, but you still carry cash. And that cash is what you pull out at the bar. This, in my experience and observation of the Sydney Renos, is like having a great personality straight away. Like the girl's just like, oh yeah. She doesn't look like that. When she's looking at it, she's like this. Lips pursed, nose kind of inhaling a little bit. And she's like, but in her head, she's like, I'm going shopping now. And You hold that wad of cash. You maintain a strong backbone, good posture. You need some jeans that have possibly got a couple of cuts in them. The jeans have got to have some gashes, some cuts. Show some leg through the jean. Wax your leg. Don't you walk around with hair on it. That's blasphemy. You need to have a waxed leg. Your leg's got to resemble her vag. It's waxed beyond belief. And you walk around like that. There's got to be white shoes or slip-on Andrew Tate-esque sliding kind of international entrepreneur shoes, which is like a rich Salvatore Ferragamo or a different Italian, maybe like a boutique kind of European design that not many people know, but they've got to be at least up to about $1,000. Minimum is $1,000, all right? Up to $2,000. I'll change that diagnosis on that. The hair gets clipped every Friday. Don't grow your hair out. It doesn't look clean enough. It doesn't look clinical enough, and it doesn't look like you got your shit together. You get your hair clipped mad, and then if you're going out, you get a hotel, because you're not gonna take it back to your mum's granny flat. That's not gonna work ever, right? You want to take her back to a hotel, Coogee, Bondi, looking over the water, and you have that for a few days. Do your ass in financially. There's no live in the moment, bro. What's the point of the future? The future is elusive. The future's a lie. The present is a gift, and that's where you live. You live in the present at all costs, at all moments. The present. And that's what you're going to be bringing to the table with the Sydney Renos. You're going to show her that I live in the now, and I want you now. And that's going to be just like a tap for her, bro. She's just going to turn on. She's going to think this guy is somewhere, you know. She doesn't know that you're 37 years old and you live in a granny flat and you have absolutely no stability for the future whatsoever. But that's beside the point. You need to live in the now. Sydney Renos, love the guy that can stand up on the table in the club, that can yell and know the lyrics to a Pitbull song. They want to know that you can dance and brawl all in the same night. While you're there, you're dancing. You're like, no, everybody's going with the pumped up lips, and you're dancing, and then someone looks at you, and then all of a sudden, you're Connor McMuffin. You're John Jones. It's a head like an elbow. It's like, what? Switch back to the dancing. Oh, the Sydney drinks with the pumped up lips. You're gonna come, and just burn us on the balcony. You do all of that, and then she's gonna go, I mean, this guy's a keeper. This guy's an absolute keeper. And I don't know, keep a pen and a pad because these diagnoses coming in. Hey, you going to get to the party? Mercedes-Benz. AMG, don't get a regular Benz. You get AMG. Audi, it's a little bit left field. You know what I mean? No one wants that. Tesla, no chance. You go Audi, left field, Merc, you're on point. If you can't get a Merc, get a Ferrari or Lamborghini, borrow it, hire it. What you'll want to do is give the perception of you live in the now and you're a boss. And that's how you pick it up. Because these days, as I said in the other video last week or whatever, there is no need for a personality or a conversation because consumption is king, and you're getting all your dopamine hits through an algorithm now, and looking at your phone whilst eating a $32 scrambled egg on a piece of sourdough. You don't need to sit and let's chat and I mean, what has happened in the past and where do you want to go in the future and what type of life do you envision and what are you currently working on? No, stupid talk. We don't want that. It's like, where are we going tonight? Fuck, I'm tired. I need something to wake me up. Pull your pants down. Like that kind of a chat, you know? Where's the beach? All of that stuff. Fuck the no stopping zone. These are the things that you want to go down. And believe me, this is a foolproof prescription in order to stitch the Sydney Renos. And if you follow the rules, plenty Sydney Renos doth descend upon thee. That's all I can say. Come on, let's go. That's it, Angel Grove. Toys Collectibles. Check out the Spider-Man straight on your screen over there. Big bad Spider-Man coming out to you from Marvel Comics. Philly and the boys at Angel Grove are a legendary sponsor here. Been on the podcast for coming close to 2 years now. all you have to do is go onto their website, angelgrovecollectables.com. Angel Grove is the school, I think, that it wasn't Pokemon. No, it's Power Rangers. They have a huge, extensive range of things on their website, angelgrovecollectables.com. 10% off for the code VLAD. They have collectibles. If you're a new listener to the podcast, it's collectibles, toys, that kind of stuff, exclusive stuff as well from awesome franchises. Power Rangers, Dragon Ball, Digimon, Pokemon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. 90s, 2000s era, they specialize in this stuff. They've got anime things, Demon Slayer, One Piece, Naruto, My Hero. And they're an official Band Presto partner store. So they have the most exclusive things from around the world dumped straight into their shop, delivered straight to you. www.angelgrovecollectables.com. The discount code is VLAD, VLAD. Get yourself 10% off. They're always in the Oz Comic Con, Supernova, and things like that. Go follow them on Facebook, Angel Grove Collectables, and also on Instagram, Angel Grove Collectables as well. Please support the supporters that support this podcast. These guys are legends, 2 years in the game. Tag them, post on your Insta, and I'll repost it. Tag me once you get something to support these awesome sponsors. All right, wrap. If you've got a business, gotta keep it safe. Keep the trolls and these hackers and the demons away. You need in the 80s, people used to sing like that. Right, it's a weird time. See, weird times we lived through back then. Do you think that whole... This is an ad. This is an ad for Virtuosys. I'm not going to go. I was about to go on a deep tangent there. Virtuosys is helping businesses balance productivity and cybersecurity. They're an IT company Australia-wide that can look after the safety of your online business or your business that's your commercial, your retail business, anything to do with when you need your computer systems locked onto your business and you trade. Virtuosys, Virtuosys is the name of the company that helps stitch online cybersecurity and productivity. Okay, www.virtuosys.com.au. When you email them, you email disdat, D-I-S-D-A-T, at virtuosys.com.au and mention Vlad. Reach out to Dan and the boys and you say to them, hey man, looking to start a business, or I don't like my IT, he's a prick and he doesn't return my calls like 90% of people in the trades these days, and I need someone that's reliable. You're going to go to Virtuosys and they're going to stitch it for you. virtuosys.com.au. Go and follow them, mention Vlad, and support the supporters that support this podcast. Yeah, I need a coffee and I want a boutique. I'm not going to get it from 7-Eleven or BP, you know. Odyssey. They reached out to me, Maddie and Jim reached out the other day. They go, do you need some more coffee? Yes is the answer, bro. And Odyssey is my favourite coffee in Australia. ODYSSEY. Coffee.com.au, ODYSSEY, coffee.com.au. Mention Vlad to get a discount. You can email him, admin@odysseycoffee.com.au if you want to start a bit of a correspondence and ask him a few questions. They'll respond back to you. Odyssey Coffee out from Victoria, delivering around the whole Australia. Amazing coffee. Get the Odyssey number 5 is my favourite blend. And they also got hot chocolate, which is amazing. They sell machines and things like that you need, but if you're a coffee shop and you want to dedicate to one, you kind of sign up with one coffee, you've got to go with Odyssey. Trust me, the coffee is amazing. I've given it to all the coffee shops in my area. Unfortunately, they're on some type of contract business and these guys have been stitched up like with the mafia. They can't move, but a lot of them have said, mate, that coffee was incredible. So probably when they come to the end of their contracts or whatever, they'll speak to odysseycoffee.com.au. Very nice, high quality coffee, especially if you're in Melbourne. Look for their sign. There's an astronaut. Get the Odyssey coffee, but go and buy yourself some from www.odysseycoffee.com.au and help support the supporters that support this podcast. Welcome back. Let's get straight into some questions for Vlad. Nappy Sand, magic number of kids to have. Me and the Mrs. Proprietary Limited have 2 girls, but I want another to get a boy. Ooh, all right. Magic number of kids to have. Bro, there is no magic number. My grandfather said something to me once hilariously. My grandfather's got 3 kids, right? So my uncle, my auntie, and my dad. And we were sitting there and having a bit of a chat. God bless him. He's the funniest guy I've ever met. He goes, I don't know what he said to me. Oh, yeah, he sat down and I was like, how was it in the village days? And I always try to pick his brain because he's from another time. He has another mindset. He has another way of living life. And I like that. I like kind of working out how these people think in comparison to the catastrophe of today, right? And it's, trust me, he is not a perfect person. He would have been exactly the same way as me if he lived in my times. I mean, with his genetic predisposition and the way that his brain works, whatever, it'll come close to me, somewhere around me. That's why we have friends and peers that are similar. I mean, I am a professor of stitchery right here, like teaching you guys a lesson here for free. So support the supporters that support the podcast, all right, before I throw it all on a Patreon. Now, he goes to me, 2 kids is the best, Vlad. He goes, you have 2 kids. The third, it's a mistake. Most of the time, it's a mistake. And then instantly in my head, he's like, was my uncle a mistake? And he was like, you know, he's a mistake. And I go, he's 7 years younger than his sister. It's okay. And I was like, was he a mistake? Because his kids are my cousins and they're awesome. He has 4 kids. And he's like, yeah, well, your grandmother tried. She tried everything. And I was like, tried? What do you mean tried everything? Hey, she tried, get rid of. I was like, what? She goes, yeah, back in the day, can't do these technologies. You know, you got to just lift up bags of rice and sit in hot baths and drink raki. I go, what's going on now? Dad, tell me this. But apparently, I told my mum this story, apparently it's out in the open, everyone knows this. I was like, I asked my uncle, he just laughed. I mean, what a legend. You know, if I found that out, I'd be mortified. I'd walk out into traffic. I wouldn't walk out into traffic, but I would definitely be mortified. I'd be like, oh, now Matarin, we're going to have a chat at the next family dinner. There's going to be a lot of ripping in. You know, there's going to be a lot of yeah buts. There's going to be a lot of nah, it's not like that today. It's not like that today. You know? So the question is not, is there a magic number? No, definitely not. There's some I know some people that have had 3 kids now, and he's ready for the 4th and 5th. It just depends on your personalities, bro. Can you handle it? You know, for me and my missus, one was like a dream. Like we enjoyed ourselves so much. The second one came down, and it was like Rocky Balboa versus Mr. T with me and my missus, without the punching. It was just all the tension of the Conor McGregor fight and Floyd Mayweather. The yelling, the screaming, the press conferences. You know what I mean? The dissing, like we would just hit a wall of anger and arguments, bro. It was very, very hard to deal with because you got a toddler, she was 2.5 or 2 3/4, and this little guy, a pricky little guy, huge dick, blonde hair, blue eyes, looks like Trump, very political child, huge wang, and he's just making trouble, bro. Screaming all night, won't suck the tit. I mean, he is my son, but still doesn't have like the traits of, like me, I'd be latched on hard. Like a champion, just looking up at tit and face. I love that, you know. As a kid, not now, lactose intolerant, but it'll just throw a spanner in the works. It's hard. And then some people have like a fantastic first 2 children, and my children are fantastic. Everyone's kids are fucking perfect and blameless in their eyes. You see my mate's kid, you want to kick him across a field. I won't do it again, so if you're going to cut that, but you sometimes, little kids are arseholes. They can be, right? It's just their personalities can be arseholes, the way they're treated or whatever. And my kids could be the same to others. They could just go, he's an annoying little shit, man, screaming. My son sounds like a pterodactyl. And they can be annoying, and then you get the third, and it could be just awesome. For you, you got 2 girls. That's awesome. Punch out for the third, get a girl again. Oh, yeah. You get 3 girls. Get your head done in for the rest of your life. You'll be loved hard, which is the best thing about girls, because my daughter loves me. Daddy, daddy. My son loves me too, but it's got that son love where he wants to punch me as well. I can feel that. Like he goes, daddy, punch, punch. He doesn't go for my hands, he goes for my chin. So it's already that man versus man thing. Mono e mono. Is that how you say it in French? And then you got, with the girls, it's just like you're smothered. But then when they turn 16, they start bitching with their mum, and then it's a fight, and then your missus feels like she's ugly and old and fat, and there's a very good chance that she could be at that age, and you never know, because lifestyle thingos, stress, cortisol, eating the wrong foods, going to bed late, poor sleep patterns. And then the 16-year-old becomes like out there in the street, and there's Mongoloids out there trying to take her on a date, and then you got to buy a shotgun and the whole thing. Get a license if you're going to do that and do it by the law. Okay, so I didn't advocate anything like that. You get a license, do it by the law, and you keep it in the safe with a latch key and the numbers, codes, and all of that. Whatever it is, not me telling you what to do. You do your own due diligence. Due diligence. Due diligence? Due diligence? Do it yourself, is what I'm saying. But if I was you, you'd stop when you feel enough's enough. You know, if two, you both have a conversation with the missus and she's like, I'm done, then you're done. And if you both want it, then you punch out. You go again. And it depends as well. Are you 65 years old, bro? You don't want to be dropping off your kid to kindergarten at 76 years old, dude, and you've just got a hip replacement. That's tough. It's very, very tough. The age thing is massive. Most people are having kids late now, or my generation, all had kids between 35 and 40, or 32 and say 40. But I think like the generation born in the 90s, I'm born in the 80s, in the 90s, are probably going to have it around 30. They're going to come back a little bit. And the people that are born in the 2000s, they'll have it maybe even before 30, because they're just looking at us, creaky old pricks, walking around drinking Coronas, 40 years old, and have a baby in his arm, doesn't know what to do with it. Whereas if you're younger, you're more malleable and adaptable, and you can put up with discomfort easier because your physical body is in better shape as well. Your mind is open to more ability to, like plasticity. You can change your mind more. The older you get, the more of a rugged, rigid kind of a self-centered person you get. And sometimes you miss the boat like that. There's people that I know that are well into their 40s, they miss the boat because they're like, I'm not going to change my pattern of my schedule now. I like my routine. I get up, I do this, I do that, and then I fuck off and get on my life. I'm not going to get a kid or a missus to buckle that. It's tough, though, when you're 60 and going to RSL clubs alone, but when you're younger, you can do everything, bro. You got the energy for it. So if you've got two girls and you want the third, depends on your age, bro. Are you 30 or are you 45? Are you 50? Sometimes time is the king, bro. And father time, they call it, bro. You can't change it. You can't turn it around. So I would say make the choice that suits you guys the best. 3 is beautiful, bro. 4 is beautiful. Just if that's something you want, you got to do it. Because my father always told me that he wanted the third kid. And I said, why? He goes, because then if I had another son, all the shit you've done to do my head in, I would have been able to flick you and focus on him. Let's just do a couple more questions here. Kicks goes, best way to tell your mate, stop being a dim chair without a snap kick to the head. Are you going to snap kick him or he's going to snap kick you? Beware, bro, because a lot of these dim chairs are on the cusp of brawling at all time because they also realize that they're destroying themselves. And you shouldn't get in the way of a train headed towards a wall unless you're Spider-Man, you know what I mean? So that's one of the things. Distance yourself, bro. As hard as it is, you sound like a young bloke. You're probably a young bloke. What you can do is articulate to old mate, or just call his parents, bro. Next time you guys are out, and he comes and slaps the table and he goes, "Let's party, boys!" And he gets a plate and puts it in the microwave with no food on it and turns it on. Just give his dad Blagoche called and just go, "Chich," and he goes, "Hello, Chich," and you go, "Chich, how are you?" And he goes, "Good, Chich, good." And you go, "Listen, man, 33 Carlton Parade, Carlton Heights, come here, man, there's an emergency." And he goes, "What's the problem, Chich?" And you go, "Yeah, listen, just turn around and come over here, man. I gotta show you." So there's strippers here, and straight away he'll come, right? And to get Lena as well, she can come as well. And then just as this guy's tucking in on the table, looking like Pablo Escobar, his parents walk in. "Hey, get the trumpets, get the drums," and he's like, "What the fuck, man? What's up? My folks are here. My folks are here, bro. My folks are here." And you go, "Yeah, I tried to talk some sense into you. I've had to make a forced intervention." You know, that'll scar him for life. Now, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't want to be that cynical. You don't want to be that much of an asshole. Please, do not do that, because there's definitely snap kicks coming your way that way. By him and his dad. Imagine his dad walks in and he goes, "What's this? Fucking." And you go, "Your son taking drugs, mate. Your son taking drugs." And he goes, "Why, give me some, mate. I'm tired now. 70 years old, I'm tired. I've got tomorrow concrete whole driveway. I need energy, mate." And they rekindle their relationship with his son. "Hey, mean? Having the best night ever. Or you'd feel like shit. You'd be tucking in as well then. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. You got to distance yourself. That's it, you know. You just got to distance yourself and keep away. If you've said it clearly to him, say, bro, you're a catastrophe. Look at you. Look what you're doing to yourself. And he's still not listening. Then, I mean, bloke's on a mission. And you don't stop a man on a mission. It's not your duty of care, unless he's your son, to get in the way and stop a man on a mission. What you can do is living well's the best revenge, they say, but living well's the best example as well. If you become a beast, you're healthy, wealthy, wise, like that show that used to be in the 90s on Channel 9. If you're healthy, wealthy, wise, shredded, got a missus, doing multiple positions, making coins, you don't have a neck tat, you don't have a face tat, that's for sure, because you want a future. You don't have a face tat. You're definitely not putting, you know, preaching gospels on your back in a tattoo and then going to the toilet. You're just enjoying your life, bro. You've bought yourself a new Ford Raptor Ranger, all black, everything's black in there. You know, you're driving around, you've jacked it up, you've got a snorkel on it, you're going out into the back country somewhere and going forward, driving with all the young guys that are doing that these days, pitching a tent inside of the tent and outside with the missus, looking at the stars. All of a sudden you're working in some branch in the city, making big coin, or you've started up like an alkaline water brand called Heroes Water, and now you're an influencer or something. I don't know, living well, bro. And then usually these Dimcha characters might take, you know, a lot of these Dimcha characters could be absolute legends, bro, by the way. A lot of them start being catastrophes and then become more legendary as you go on, because it's true. I've been up and down that path many times. You've got all this untrammeled energy or unfocused energy, and you're putting it to the worst thing that you could do just because you don't have a real reason or mission in life. But once Dimche gets this mission together, like, you know, if he calms down enough that he can hang out with a missus or a mister, who knows, 2023, who knows, then you can focus that energy into constructivity, bro. Constructivity, is that a word? Construction, productivity. Yeah, I'm stitching words together, bro. That's how tweets start. You know, putting all these words together. Lead by example, as always, bro. No man forced against his will. Any man forced against his will is of the same opinion still. It's a bit of rhyming there, English idioms that, you know, still stand up today. And I reckon that's what you got to do, bro. Just distance yourself, because don't hang around slippery spots, because that's where you'll slip yourself, and then you can't blame anyone but yourself, bro. So again, this fucking book is perfect, bro. It all begins with I. Get that book. I've put it up on the screen, even though I probably won't put it on YouTube with 250 listeners. Good luck, good try with that, bro. I mean, try. Good. Fuck. All right, last one, bro. Philo G. Thoughts on self-driving cars doing Uber for you, making you VAS while you work your real job. Maybe VAS, maybe that's cash. Thoughts on self-driving cars doing Uber for you, making you cash while you work your real job. Oh, it's probably the future, you know. Like I said to my cousin the other day when I went for a ride with him, cycling. Bro, I got a mad looking neck though. Shredded. I go, bro, I'm thinking about buying the Tesla truck, the Cyber truck. And he goes, don't talk to me, bro, if you're going to buy one of those things. Are you mad, bro? Am I speaking of Vlad? Who am I speaking to? You're not a Muppet. I go, it's got nothing to do with a Muppet. I mean, it looked like a Muppet, to be honest, but I like the look of the car. It looks gun, and it's big, dude. It can turn into like a camping tent. You can sleep at the back. You can go mental going left in the back thing with the misso. He goes, don't talk shit, bro. Electric cars. This guy's in no way into any of that kind of progressive stuff with the electricity cities, electrical cars and all that. He's totally against it. And there's a lot of like people out there that are talking about getting electric cars, and then they're going to switch off the power and you won't be able to power up your car and you'll be stuck and all of that stuff. And as the world devolves into catastrophes, as we've said in this podcast several times so far, the government might do it to you. You know, we don't know, mate. We don't know what the government's going to do. They locked us in our house for 2 years. And they made us, do certain things that we weren't interested in doing or wanted to do. Some people did, you know what I mean? The ones that call themselves intellectuals, they did it. Even though the ones that didn't do what these guys prescribed to do, they're healthier than the intellectuals at the moment. But I'm not one to say yes or no in regards to that, because I don't want to be demonetized, and I want to continue rising up. And once I get to the peak of my notoriety, that's when I'm going to unleash. So, I mean, share this podcast so we can get to that point. But I would say anything about self-driving and all of that, it's very... How could you say this and not be a hypocrite? Everything we do is a progress. Everything that we're currently living in is a progression that there was some pushback to by a certain, amount of people. I would say that the recording systems I'm using to cut and edit radio hosts, people from the 70s would think that I'm a Hmong, and why are you doing this for? I mean, you're not real. You're editing. You're cutting out the parts that are quiet, or you're cutting out the parts where you went for too long, or you take a second take, and this is fabricated, this is edited, this is fraudulent. They're going to say all of that stuff, but the people in today's age listen to this and go, this is the most Immaculate show I've ever heard. But they're listening to some guy called Bob Drongo back in the 70s, and he's like, g'day guys, how's it going? Sponsored by fucking VB, mate. Yeah, the Penny Panthers are back, the Penny Panthers. And he's going off his head over there, but he's not answering Q&As. He's not getting 50 Q&As a week, but I'm doing a different thing. Things evolve, it's scary. Progress is scary, but you can't stop it. Not with humans, because we're smart and we're idiots at the same time. And we're gonna just smash ourselves into walls, bro. So that if you think that I'm losing it, like, just think about the amount of wars that happened in the 20th century. There was a lot of wars, bro. And apparently now we're on the brink of a nuclear war with my cousin Vlad Putin. And China and America, and there's all these morons on the internet that don't know what they're doing, me being one of them, speaking about geopolitics and flaring up things that is, disinformation, misinformation. We don't know what's right and wrong anymore, up or down anymore, man or woman anymore. And it's very, very confusing. In the future, we'll get used to that. And there'll be another issue. There'll be robots coming over to pound your wife while you're mowing the lawn in the backyard, because that's what's going to be. Now you go, that's funny, it's stupid, but when you see the C-Bot 3PO bend your missus in a position that you could only dream of because you can't anymore, you've got two slip discs in your back and a numb toe, then you're going to go, fuck, this did come true. This is 2074, this is happening. There's a lot of stuff that, people didn't want seatbelts in cars. People didn't want to stop drinking and driving. People didn't want any of that things to happen. Like, people didn't want marijuana to be legal, and the moment it was legal, they were straight away at the doctor saying that they've got glaucoma and that they've got irritability and they need to get some weed so they can just go to the job being a property manager in a small town trying to lease out 2-bedroom units that have cockroach problems. Everyone wants to have an issue with things, but then once it's bestowed upon thee, you accept it and you keep going. And there's the fucking flow state is like, it's hard to be in the flow state, dude. And on that point, I've got to say that there is a lot of merit in going against things that don't serve our community, like women sticking dildos up their ass on Instagram, influencing our kids to go and get fake lips at the age of 15 years old and making my daughter feel like she's ugly. I'm ready to go to war for that, and as you should, any responsible person that cares for anything except for themselves, you should also feel certain ways about certain things that are put onto you, Stupid ideologies that are being said to children, they need to be combated. The electric cars, I don't know, I don't know what's going to come of it. I've driven an electric car. It's okay. I prefer a motor, but I like the look of the Cybertruck. If that came with a V8 motor, I would rather buy that. But it is what it is. You're not going to stop these things, bro. People don't like cyclists. And then there's people that become cyclists. I had a friend that hated cycling. He's one of the biggest cyclists ever. You just don't know, don't knock it till you try it, that kind of a thing. But the future is coming, and it's coming fast. And I think that's what is the most concerning thing for me and parents and anyone that has any skin in the game. It's it's too quick and things are changing. You know, it's too dynamic. The internet is too powerful. The chat GPT, the GBI, GTI, whatever it is, and they're out there making jokes and writing scripts and, you know, not doing any reports on Donald Trump, just on Joe Biden. They're saying he's the best person in the world and Donald Trump's a heathen, when it's really probably the other way around. And I just think that's probably what spins a lot of people out, bro. And I don't know what the question was. What do I think of it? Thoughts on self-driving cars doing Uber for you while making whatever, dude. What are you going to make with Uber? $200 a day? Like, do something you're passionate about and leave the money to the side. The money will come. It might come in a year, 2, 5, 10, 20, doesn't matter. Do something that you, as long as you can survive. You know, doing Vlad, I can survive. I wouldn't say I'm thriving. I'm thriving spiritually, and I'm thriving with all the people that I get to meet and greet and entertain, and I have so much love given to me. So that fills me up. Plus, I've set myself up financially years ago, so I don't really give a fuck anymore. I'm not going to go and do something that I don't like just so I can try to pretend that I'm rich, when really I'm just like an empty soul walking around filling my pockets up. You can't fill up your soul through your pockets. It's not going to happen. And I'm sweating like an absolute dog in this double brick furnace, bro. The summer has hit. I've got the ice bath outside. Someone has what do you call it? Stabbed my ice bath. It's an inflatable one. Pichkati matarin, dude, because I bought a timber one. I'm picking it up from it's 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. Let's see if you can stab the timber. Let's see. And we'll go to war for that as well. Peace, Vlad. It's peace. It's peace. I mean, see, you go conditioned responses. That's a conditioned response. Going to war? No, I will not go to war. I will go to peace. I've got to take this shirt off. But I keep a PG, bro, because I don't want people to be looking at this and showing their kids fantasy and Trinity. That's the names of the kids these days. Fantasy? Have a listen to Vlad. Have a listen to Uncle Vlad. Have a listen to him, what he's saying about the TikTok. Yeah, we're going to take your account off. We're going to take it. Oh, don't give a shit. I'll just make another account. No, we're going to take your account off. Listen to Uncle Vlad. So I want to be a positive influence on these kids. I reckon that's it, man. That'll probably be the answer to the self-driving Uber thing. Good luck, and get the Cybertruck if you're going to buy one.